Good morning, Dr. Vipin.
Good morning, Siemen.
Good morning, Dr. Vipin.
Good morning, Commander.
How are you?
Doing good. So it's happy to see quite a lot of participation in yesterday's tutorial also. Very nice.
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Audio audible? Is it audible?
Good morning.
Good morning, sir. Good morning, Dr. Kato.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Dr. Katur.
Yes, sir. Good morning, sir.
Good
Good morning,
morning.
sir.
As the chief guest and the guest of honor join,
They're joining, sir. They're joining now, sir.
Yes. Yeah, this is Dr. Vipin from GF. The site GM is joining, dialing in as we speak.
Yeah, good morning. This is Gaurav. I've just joined.
Yeah, chief guests have joined, sir. Chief guests have joined. Good morning, sir. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Professor.
Morning, sir.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Mr. Ruchir.
Good
I'm
morning,
also
sir.
online.
Good morning, Ruchir. Guest of honor also have joined.
Good morning.
Very good morning to all of you. I invite you all to the second edition of International Conference on Microelectronic Devices, Circuits and Systems, ICMDCS 2021,
Wait.
on behalf of
Ma'am,
Have all of them joined? Huh?
yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Chief guest Gaurav, he has also joined from GlobalFoundries, and guest of honor Ruchir Dixit from Mentor. He is also joined, sir. And
All our faculty have joined?
yes, sir. Yes, sir. Faculty and students. We have around 190 participants. Sir.
Oh, very good.
190 participants, sir. Yeah.
Then we can start.
Yeah, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Once again, good morning to all of you. I welcome you all to the second edition of International Conference on Microelectronic Circuits, Devices and Systems, ICMDCS 2021, on behalf of Department of Micro and Nanoelectronics, School of Electronics Engineering, BIT, Vellore. There is a Sanskrit saying, Sanghe Sekti Kaliyuge, Vidvat Sanghe Sekti Navayuge, which says, association of scholarly people is the real power in the modern era. This conference gives an opportunity for such association of scholars from academia as well as industry. We wish that by the keynote speakers, researchers, authors, and presenters will enable us to strengthen our skills to find solutions for some of the societal issues and to build a strong nation to make a better world. With this positive note, I request Dr. Harish M. Kittur, Dean, School of Electronics Engineering, to deliver the welcome address. Sir, please take over.
The screen could be removed. Okay?
Yes, sir. It has removed.
Thank you, madam. Good morning to all of you. It is my great pleasure and honor to deliver the inaugural address of this second international conference on microelectronic devices, circuits and systems, abbreviated as ICMDCS 2021. This conference is being conducted by the Department of Micro and Nanoelectronics of the School of Electronics Engineering, BIT Vellore. At the outset, I would like to welcome the Honorable Chancellor, Dr.G. Viswanathan, Honorable Vice President, Mr. G.V. Salvam, Honorable Vice Chancellor, Dr. Rambabu Kodali, Honorable Pro VC, Dr. Narayanan, Guest of Honor, Dr. Mr.Ruchir Dixit, who is the Country Manager of Mentor, a Siemens business, the Chief Guest, Mr. Gaurav Luthra, Global SG&A and A Controller and Country Head, India of GlobalFoundries, Dr. Vipin Madan Gurli and other members of our industry partner, GlobalFoundries, students, and the faculty of VIT. Also, the participants from various organizations and institutions from India and abroad. The organizing chairs of this conference are Dr. V. Arunachalam and Dr. K. Shivshankaran. As Dean of the School of Electronics Engineering, I would like to take this opportunity to briefly talk about the school. The school has nearly 140 faculty, more than 90% of which are PhDs. The student strength is nearly 4,000, and the school currently offers 2 BTech programs and 7 postgraduate programs. The Department of Micro and Nanoelectronics offers 2 of the PG programs, which are MTech Nanotechnology and MTech VLSI Design, which is the motivation for the conference. The school regularly conducts various co-curricular and extracurricular events, hackathons, makeathons, and many other events. The school hosts several clubs and chapters of prestigious professional societies like the IET, and the IEEE. The alumni of the school have been making a mark and are making their way into reputed institutions, industries, and organizations. The first edition of this conference was a big success, and this is the second edition. The pandemic could delay this conference, but not the spirit of the organizers, and they have come up with a higher version of the conference. The list of speakers for this conference is truly stellar, and they are from various parts of the country as well as the globe. I wish the participants a great learning and exchange of ideas. I also wish the conference a great success. I would like to add that the proceedings of this conference would be published in the prestigious Springer Journal. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Now I request Dr. V. Arunachalam, Organizing Chair, ICMDCS, to brief us about the conference. Sir, please take over.
Thank you, ma'am. It's my immense pleasure and great opportunity to present you about the conference ICMDCS 2021. And the first, as Dean sir told, the first edition of the conference was organized in August 2017, and all the selected papers were published in IEEE Explore. And the second edition this edition of conference covers the most active research areas like digital IC, analog IC, device modeling, and other related areas like communication circuits, embedded systems, nonlinear circuits, and systems. We are fortunate to have GlobalFoundries, Intel FPGA, and Siemen CDA sponsored tutorial sessions on the industry relevant skills in 8 different tracks yesterday, and keynote and plenary sessions by leading industry leaders and renowned academicians from various parts of the globe like USA, Germany, Japan, France, Singapore, and India are scheduled today and tomorrow. And our industry partner is the strength of this conference. They are with us in 2007 as well as in 2021, helped in fixing the chief guest, keynote, and tutorial speakers, and provide publicity among the researchers in the industry. And as Dr. Kitor mentioned, impact of the global pandemic scenario was there. Actually, we plan to conduct this conference as a physical conference. We believe that it would be more effective in terms of professional networking and new collaborations. But during November only, we decided to have virtual conference, and we revised the budget, and to attract more number of participants, we have reduced the registration fees. And as a result, we received around 103 papers from India, China, Bangladesh, Singapore, and Malaysia. From 14 different states of India, we have received research articles, and more than 90% of the papers are long papers, more than 12 pages. And also, due to the pandemic situation, it becomes an advantage for us. 10 out of 13 keynote speakers are abroad, especially the notable speakers like Stuart Parkin, IBM fellow and a co-inventor of magnetic hard disk, and Dr. Kaushik Roy is a very famous author, written many books on VLSI fields, or keynote speakers. And a statistical overview of the conference: number of papers received 103, and it is being reviewed by 50 national and international reviewers. And they scrutinized, and finally they selected 48 papers, and those 48 papers are going to be presented in 8 different technical sessions today and tomorrow. And there are around 68 registered presenters, and they'll be joining with us in the technical sessions. And yesterday's tutorial registration also around 250 we got. And all the papers, all the selected and presented papers will be published in CCIS conference proceedings, which is part of Springer Nature. This will be also indexed in the Scopus later on. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. It's my immense pleasure. Thank you, sir. It's my immense pleasure to introduce you all the guest of honor of today's inaugural session, Mr. Ruchir Dixit, the country manager, Mentor Graphics. He is responsible for increasing the market presence and share of Mentor, a Siemen's business in India, Sri Lanka, and Bangladesh. He received his BS in Electronics and Instrumentation from Indo University and Masters in Computer Science from Van State University. He is an alumnus of University of California, Berkeley, Haas School of Business. He has over 20 years of experience in semiconductor industry. He has executed multiple levels of responsibilities in design, development of ASIC, FPGA, and PCB products. He has either directly worked on tape-outs or he worked with numerous global customers for over 200 IC tape-outs. He has held various leadership positions and he brings in wealth of experience in product development, business management, technology transformation, strategy development, execution, and sales. He spent 11 years in Metagraphics USA, and then he moved to India in 2005 to start building the application engineering team in India. Now, I request Mr. Ruchir Dixit, the guest of honor, to deliver his address to the gathering. Sir, could you please?
And thank you so much. Just listening to you reading out my bio was a little embarrassing because I stand nowhere in comparison to all the other dignitaries that we have at this conference. Again, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. It's my privilege to be able to speak to the eminent people who are part of VIP, part of this conference, and attendees. So, when I was thinking about what I should talk about, the first thought that came to my mind was just yesterday, I was talking to some of the industry leaders, and we were talking about different topics. One of the topics that we started to talk about was hireability of recent college students when they come out of college. And as you can imagine, there are many people, so there were many opinions. But amongst those many opinions, the common theme that came out is that there is a lot of work that has been done by academia and the industry, but there is so much more we can do. So when that was happening, I started thinking how do we really look at an individual? So in my view, when I look at an individual, I look at an individual and every individual in a three-dimensional space. On one axis, I look at the knowledge that the individual possesses. On the second axis, I look at the skills that the individual possesses. And on the third axis is the attitude that the individual possesses. And an individual is a combination of all these three vectors, and that defines who and what that individual is. So the right person to be talking about this kind of phenomenon is somebody who has the right balance. So I started to look at some examples. And the first example that came to my mind was something that has been on our minds for the last 3 or 4 weeks is the famous India victory in Australia. We went to Australia and we beat them, which has not happened very often. The thing that changed everybody's mind about the India team was that a lot of new players came, people who had never played before for a year. They came in and they fit in as if they had been playing for years. And when that happened, people started to realize that it's not just about how much experience you have, how much study you have done. It's also about what mindset you bring in. So then I said, okay, if that's the case, what is it that changed the Indian team? And then everybody pointed their fingers at Rahul Dravid. They said that when he came into the under-19 fold, he started working with the young kids to work on all these three aspects of the individual. And that's where I think universities also play a key role. Because when universities work with students, they're working on knowledge, of course, because the knowledge is the foundation of every student. What makes a difference is which university and which school is always at the leading edge of the knowledge. Are we talking about what we have done 30 years ago? It's important because we need to know where we came from. In addition, are we talking about where we are today and also where we want to be or where we will be in the next 10 years? So that's the knowledge part. The second comes the skilling part. And then what caught my attention was Dr. Arunachalam, your signature on the email, which says, knowing is not enough, we must apply. That's the skill part. Knowing something and not being able to use it to solve real world problems has limited value. So some universities do that better than other universities. And then the third is the attitude. And what I mean by attitude is creating this culture of trying to do more than what's the minimum requirement. And I think the best place to teach that to young generations is in the universities. I remember when I was in college, and I'm not very proud to say that, but we focused on what was the syllabus, when is the exam date, and how much do I have to study to crack my exam. This is what I was, but I have learned over time that if I had applied the same principles in my career, I probably would not have advanced in my career. So if this kind of culture can be imparted at the university level, that would go a long way. Now, I am here at VIT. VIT has built the reputation on leading edge knowledge. VIT has been working on the skilling part as well and on the culture. Talking about Siemens EDA, which used to be called Mentor, and over time, Mentor Graphics name will be assimilated into Siemens EDA. So in this talk, I will be using Mentor and Siemens EDA interchangeably. We have been working with the universities across the world for the last 20 years, or even longer. In India especially, for the last 15 years that I have been part of Mentor India. And our focus has been to make sure that the students, when they come out of colleges and universities, are job ready fast. Because when the students, when they come out of college, they are job ready faster, it allows the industry to focus on what the industry should be focusing on, is innovating and building new products that they can bring out to the market. So in these last 15 years that I have been associated with Mentor and universities in India, we've worked with around 500 colleges to help the colleges bring the new knowledge and also help the colleges create programs that help in upskilling the engineers and the students. And we are always looking for universities that are committed to building and nurturing the talent. Now, having said that, when I look at VIT and our partnership with VIT, it has been very special. And Dr. Viswanathan is here, the Chancellor. Dr. Viswanathan, I have to say that it's one of the few schools that I have come across where the vision that we have has been shared by the university and the college. The vision and focus to build the next set of engineers who are better than the previous generation of engineers. VIT has always worked with us as a partner and has understood the need of the partnership between the industry and academia. And I must also commend you that the professors that I have spoken to at VIT, I find their enthusiasm to work with us so infectious. Sometimes we feel that they are pushing us to work more with them. And that's a brilliant space to be in. Now, if I think about, okay, when I say its relationship has been special, where's the proof? The proof is in your placements. Your placements are very sought after, your students are very sought after, and despite our partnership that we've had for these many years, I must say that I also have to get in queue to get a hand at your engineers to hire them straight out of school. So to me, on one hand, it's a bittersweet feeling that after working so much with VIT, I have to stand in line, but it's also it makes me feel very good that the partnership that we have been working on and working with VIT is creating this demand for products that come out of VIT. So I commend you for that. Now, what Siemens has done with VIT, and as you are all aware, Siemens has leadership position in many domains, and we are influencing many different segments in the industry. Before Mentor came to Siemens, Siemens was leading in the mechanical and electrical design. With Mentor coming into the fold, now the leadership position extends to electronics design as well. And the reason it becomes important is because when we look at the products that we have around us today, these are all systems. And the systems constitute of mechanical parts, electrical parts, electronic parts, and software. And the boundaries around these domains are becoming very fluid. They are not as tight, as hard as they used to be in the past. And that's where Siemens, traditional Siemens, and Mentor, which is now Siemens EDA, has now the leadership position and the ability to bring this technology across the system span to the industry and to the academia. We've talked about, Mentor and Siemens has talked about the concept of digital twin. Essentially, it's making a digital twin of the system that we want to create in a model that we can design, validate before it actually goes to the software. Now, what Siemens bring in, and that capability is totally unparalleled. It's not about just the system. It's not about just the box. It's not just about the electrical connections. It's not just about the electronics. We can now even build a digital twin of the factory that's going to build the system. So what Siemens brings to the fold is the ability to take an idea all the way to the production floor and make a digital twin and create a system. Specifically with VIT, the areas that we have been working on are around physical verification, design for test, and logic verification, because this is where Siemens EDA, also known as Mentor, has undisputed market leadership. So what I want to do today at this stage, which I am privileged to be a part of, I want to recommit our focus to continue to work with VIT, make our relationship stronger, and bring to the VIT students the best-in-class experience. Because I certainly believe that if we continue to do the things that we've been doing, we continue to go on this path, VIT and Siemens EDA can build a model that will be a role model for other schools and other universities in India, and will create an ecosystem that we can all be proud of. So I commend VIT, the organizing committee, for pulling off this event in these difficult times. It's a difficult thing to do, but you have done an awesome job. Dr. Chancellor, you talked about the papers that you have received from all over the world, the speakers that you have from all over the world. So I am so excited to be a part of this because I know that for every attendee of this conference is going to be full of new learnings and new insights. Thank you again and all the best.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Knowing is not enough, we must apply. These words speak a lot, sir. We in VIT also believe in and try to import application or project-based education here. Thank you for being with us. Now, I request the inspiration behind the entire VIT family, Honorable Chancellor, Dr.G. Viswanathan, to give his presidential address. Sir, please take over.
Good morning. Am I audible?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Our chief guest, Mr. Gaurav Luthra for the second International Conference on Microelectronics, Devices, Circuits and Systems, and guest of honor, Mr. Ruchir Dixit, the Dean of the School, Dr. Harish Kittur, Dr. Arunachalam and Dr. Sivasankaran, the organizing chairs, Dr. Sridevi, Dr. Kumaravel, and other professors of the School of Electronics, partner industries, my dear students and other participants from various parts of India, very good morning to you. I'm very happy that our chief guest and guest of honor have accepted the invitation to be here today when we conduct the second conference, ICMDCS 2021, which was conducted early in 2017. To tell something about VIT, in fact, the Department of Electronics was one among the earliest to be started in Vellore Engineering College. That was the name of the institution when we began in 1984. At the time itself, we began with 3 subjects: civil, mechanical, electronics, and communication. So this is one of the oldest subjects we offer in then VEC, now VIT. Then it was part of an affiliated college to the University of Madras when we began in 1984. We began with 180 students and 60 students in electronics, I remember. Now we have grown. Now the student strength is 52,000 in 4 campuses: Vellore, Chennai, Amaravati, Andhra Pradesh, and Bhopal, Madhya Pradesh. And we have been recognized as an IOE institution of eminence by Government of India. You know pretty well that the government has chosen 10 private universities and 10 public universities, and given the status of institution of eminence, we are one among the 10 in the private universities. It's all possible because of our teachers and students. We have a committed band of teachers, about 1,400 in Vellore and Chennai. And we have hardworking and disciplined students. These are the 2 things which has given us this advantage. And also as a policy, generally we know we are good in theory, Indians, but lagging behind in practical knowledge. That's what we want to avoid in VIT. We are working closely not only with educational institutions, but also with industries. That's why this conference also, we have a partner, industrial partner, GLOBALFOUNDRIES. We always attach much importance to industry people. And in fact, in all the board of studies, we have somebody from concerned industry. And also one portion of each subject has to be taught by a person from industry. That is compulsory for all the subjects, all the schools. And we try to involve them wherever possible so that the students will know the practical problems, and we invite them for lectures to come and share their problems with our students. That's how we try to avoid which is lagging, where as a country we are lagging behind in theory, in practical knowledge. That's what we are able to achieve in VIT. I'm very happy that the school and the Department of Nanoelectronics has organized this conference. And also I'd like to thank the GLOBALFOUNDRIES for being accepted to be an industrial partner. The conference covers the subject areas including digital IC design, analog, signal IC design, device modeling and technology, RF communication circuits, communication technologies, signal, image and video processing, embedded and smart systems, nonlinear circuits and systems, etc. In addition to the technical paper presentation, keynote and plenary talks by the experts from USA, Germany, Japan, France, Singapore, and of course, our own country. The conference has also offered pre-conference tutorial sessions on recent advancement in the industry relevant skills by experts from GLOBALFOUNDRIES, Intel, and Siemens India ADA on 11th February 2021. Despite the pandemic scenario, a total of 103 papers have been received. Out of these, 6 papers are from international authors from countries like China, Taiwan, Malaysia, and Bangladesh. 50 national and international reviewers scrutinized the papers for their technical merit. A total of 45 papers have been selected and registered for presentation. The worldwide electronics industry is greatly influenced, especially during work from home and study from home scenario, into the consumer purchases of smartphones, personal computers, automobiles, and many other devices and systems have been vertically increased. There is an impact on the worldwide economy due to this, especially 47% of revenue generation from the United States comes from the semiconductor industry. Among the Asia Pacific countries like South Korea, Japan, China, and Taiwan, and they are geared up and reached 10% of the revenue generation from the semiconductor industry, and it is forecasted that it will double every year. I think it is time now that our government has also undertaken the program of Make in India, that we should be able to compete with these countries, because at present we are importing and the import bill goes up to $10 to $12 billion a year. And I would like to request our youngsters who are studying the subject, wherever possible, they should go for production of semiconductors, so that we will also not only become self-sufficient, but also we must be able to export. In 2020, the global semiconductor industry is predicted to grow by 5.1% compared to the previous year, a recovery from the 12% fall that the market experienced in 2019. The ICMDCS 2021, which we are conducting now, is certainly a good platform to share, demonstrate, and witness the growth of microelectronics, embedded and smart systems. I congratulate the school, the organizers, and the researchers who are presenting their research findings in this conference. I am sure that in the future, the conference will see many versions and will go from strength to strength. I would like to thank our chief guest and guest of honor, particularly for sparing the time to be with us and address our students. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for your words. We assure you that definitely the future editions of this conference will be much more knowledgeable and much more strengthened according to your words. Thank you, sir. Now, I request Dr. S. Komarabel, HOD, Department of Micro and Nanoelectronics, to introduce the chief guest of today's function. Sir, Over to you.
Good morning, everyone. I extend a warm welcome to all to this conference. I am highly privileged in introducing our chief guest, Mr. Gaurav Luthra. Mr. Gaurav has been associated with the semiconductor industry over 12 years. Primarily as part of the finance function, he has held several responsibilities, the last one being the Singapore side as CFO at GlobalFoundries. He has also extensively worked in the telecom and automotive sectors in leadership roles. Mr. Gaurav has a good insight of the semiconductor business, having been associated with mergers, acquisitions, business transformation, strategy development, and execution, negotiations, vendor management, and customer partnership, focusing on long-term value creation during his time at GlobalFoundries. He has a passion for driving standardization and process improvement. Observing closely how technologies are shaping the future of the world and the immense potential offered by the semiconductor industry keeps him excited. With this, I request our chief guest, Mr. Gaurav, to address the gathering. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Kumaravell. I hope you all can hear me clearly.
Yes.
Yes. Wonderful. So at the outset, I would like to thank the Honorable Chancellor, Dr. Viswanathan, for his kind words. All the professors at SENS and all the conference organizers for having me as the chief guest. GlobalFoundries and VIT have been associated over the years, and I look forward to this continued association for the times to come. I could not agree more with what Ruchir had to say about VIT. VIT, as we all know, and as the Chancellor Sir also explained, right, is an institute of eminence and has made immense contribution to imparting quality education, among many other things. A bit about GlobalFoundries. We are the world's leading foundry, specialty foundry, and we deliver differentiated feature-rich solutions that enable our clients to develop innovative products for high-growth market segments. We provide a range of platforms and features with a unique mix of design, development, and fabrication services. I would just want to share my thoughts, mostly addressed to the student community, with the hope that they can find it useful. So I'm humbled to be speaking in front of this audience, including some of the esteemed professors. To me, a teacher has been always next to the Almighty and my parents. I would also like to confess that I'm not a technocrat, but I feel fortunate, and it gives me great pride to be working with some of the best brains in the world. When I was studying science at school, I was always fascinated by the world of semiconductors, especially what it takes to do high-tech manufacturing. But I don't think so that it dawned upon me what this industry really means to the world. Now, having spent 12 years working in the semiconductor industry, there is absolutely no doubt in my mind as to how critical this industry is and how technology is literally shaping the future by coming in with more innovative products and solutions. The first thing I would like to say is to stay positive. Now, when we entered this pandemic almost a year back, it seemed as if we were headed for a completely uncertain future. The only thing we heard was about loss of livelihood and all the hardships that people had to go through, and which is true in a way. But if we were to keep all that aside for a moment, all the personal losses and all the economic hardship that this pandemic has caused globally, the acceleration of the digital journey has been one of the biggest success stories. By some measure, the amount of progress that has been achieved over the last year could be equivalent to a decade worth equivalent, right? So let me give you an example. When this pandemic started, the general consensus was that the entire startup ecosystem will collapse. The truth is that not only has it survived, in fact, it has come back with a vengeance. There are more unicorns in India today than there were at the beginning of the pandemic. So my advice for you is, as difficult as it is, keep your focus on the long term. Human ingenuity is strong enough to help you find a way around the obstacles. Secondly, if the thought ever comes your mind, or that thought ever crosses your mind rather, that whatever you are being taught is not relevant, I would say stop there. The reason is that if the institute that you are in, make sure that you are up to speed. They work very closely with the industry. They work very closely with the peers to make sure that what you're taught is really up to date. And as you grow older, you will realize that life is a great teacher. The failures and successes that we all go through are our experiences, and there is something to learn from them always. Some of these make us more humble, and some of them make us more confident. With the ever increasing demand for skills, India's position will continue to get stronger. And which better country than India in the world that offers the opportunity for large organizations to hire engineering talent at scale? I mean, none comes to my mind. Thirdly, what has been impressive is the way India has handled the pandemic. Even when we look at global standards, right, there is recognition of this fact that we've come across stronger. India's reputation has improved by a few notches. Roughly 2 million office workers went into work from home in a matter of weeks. Our networks were tested, our ability to deliver results was tested, and most of all, our resilience was tested. As a nation, I firmly believe that we all passed with high grades. And as we come out of this pandemic, the economic recovery is expected to be strong. In fact, probably the strongest among all the nations. We're expecting close to 12% GDP growth for this year. And please expect high growth for a sustained period of time, creating more opportunities. There are other facilitating factors. Mobile penetration is increasing, broadband access is increasing. And our hunger to achieve more will see more of our local enterprises becoming global. Fourth of all, by all indications, we are in the middle of a super cycle. Now, a super cycle is a period when there is accelerated adoption and the industry remains in a high utilization for a sustained period of time. The amount of silicon that is being used today is ever increasing. So much so that the automotive companies, if you've been following some of them, have had to scale back operations and are expecting billions of dollars worth of production loss because there is a shortage of chips. 5G is another great example. With China taking the lead, there is almost a sense of urgency and also in some of the actions in both the US and Europe to catch up. We can also expect 5G will get launched in India in some shape and form before the end of this year. Look around and almost everything is being enabled by electronics. That is at the heart of these solutions. As more and more integration continues to happen, we will see an ever increasing demand for engineering talent with the right skill set. Fifth of all, the geopolitical situation is forcing a lot of countries to look at their electronic supply chain as a key consideration. That is driving decisions for relying more on local. Our Prime Minister has also talked about the Atmanirbhar Bharat Mission. The Chancellor also spoke about the same thing. And one of the key components is designing products that are customized to our requirements, made in India for India. will be a strong theme for the time to come. And by the way, right, as also mentioned by the Chancellor, right, electronics is one of India's largest non-oil imports. I will not be surprised if we hear Government of India announcing a fab being set up in India in the near future. And once that happens, the whole ecosystem around that will also come into play. The more we go local, imagine the kind of opportunities that opens up. My last thought is more philosophical. I love talking about some of this stuff. Never forget that we have to give back to the society. It is our duty to ensure that we use our knowledge for the larger good. When we see someone doing some kind of a menial job, right, the first thought that we might be tempted to conclude that the individual, was not good at studies or didn't study hard. But we don't know if the individual ever had the opportunity to get educated. It is upon us to make sure that we use our education and the opportunity that we have to help all those who will benefit from it the most. As some of you will become designers of the future, if I were to refer you that way, please keep the human angle in mind. And more importantly, who are you designing for? The way the Industrial Revolution a century ago helped the Western world advance, India's time is now. And we have the opportunity to be the driver of global digital revolution. Thank you so much and welcome to the conference. I hope you will enjoy the next couple of days.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Teacher is next to me, almighty and parents to me. These words from a global leader from the industry gave a feel of mixed emotions to us, the teaching community. So from this moment, we have to and will be more responsible and more enthusiastic in shaping the young generations. Thank you, sir, for being with us. Now, I request Dr. Sivasankaran K, the organizing chair, to propose a vote of thanks. So,
thank you, ma'am. Very good morning, all. I feel and honored and privileged to propose vote of thanks on the on microelectronic devices, circuits, and systems.
It's not audible.
I thank our Honorable Chancellor, who blessed us with his presence and giving us opportunity and guidance to hold the second edition of ICMDCS 2021. I thank our Vice President, Vice Chancellor, and Pro Vice Chancellor for motivating us to conduct this event. I sincerely thank the member of the Advisory Committee and Technical Program Committee for their valuable suggestions. I thank all the tutorial and keynote speakers. I thank the participants for their enthusiastic participation in this conference. I take this opportunity to thank all the reviewers and technical committee members for providing their valuable comments in time and help towards the improvement of quality of papers presented in this conference. I thank Dr. Kitu Haris Mallikarjun, Dean School of Electronics Engineering, for his inspiring mentorship. I am very much thankful to our industry partners, GlobalFoundries, especially Dr. Vipin Madankalli, Director Design Enablement, for the guidance and support. I'm also thankful to all the officers for providing us with all the possible logistic support towards organizing this event. A special thanks to our Center for Technical Support team. I'm also thankful to all the organizing team, faculty members, staff, research scholars, and IEEE branch student volunteers who greatly helped us in organizing the conference. Thank you all. Nandri. Thank you, sir.
Thank you all for gracing this occasion. And I request all the participants to be online in the same link for the next keynote session. We'll start at 10:45. So thank you, one and all.
Thank you, Mr. Gaurav.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gaurav and Dr. Mr. Ruchir.
Thank you, Mr. Gaurav, and thank you, Dr.
Thank you, Mr. Gaurav. And
Thank you so much.
thank you,
Thank you.
Mr. Ruchir Dixit.
Thank you. It was a pleasure. Thank you for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. This is Arnachalam.
Yes, Dr. Arnachalam. So I hope you didn't mind mentioning you by name.
No problem. No problem. It's a honor.
Because I found that to be very pertinent to what I was going to talk about.
Yes.
So again, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
All right, I'll take leave.
Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir. We can
Thank you,
close.
sir.
Sir, Sivashankaran, sir.
Yes, sir.
Sir, from CTS, sir. Actually, now the inauguration is over, right?
Yes.
Shall we stop the recording and then shall I hand over the host
Yes.
role to your account, sir?
To Dr. Priyaline. VIT Zoom 3.
Priyaline, she's there, na? Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. I'll stop the recording, right? Thank you.
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thank you all the participants. And please join in the conference proceeding next. Thank you all.
Ma'am, Priyaline, ma'am. Ma'am, Priyaline, ma'am. Hello. Could you please unmute and hello, ma'am?